I think if there's one good thing that's come from from COVID-19 and global
Yes.
pandemic, is the fact that people have become more aware now
Mm-hmm.
of what it is actually like to suddenly overnight just struggle with anxiety, just struggle with fear, just struggle with not knowing what's going on. And I think if we can move away from mental health, and I like to call it emotional fitness,
Yeah.
because then it's something tangible, right? You go, you go to the gym to you improve your physical fitness. Well, guess what? You can still do things to improve your emotional fitness as well. And yeah, that's where I'm at really. I've sort of turned my life around big time in the last 7 years. I run ultra marathons to raise money and awareness for charities. I run a brand on Instagram called Male Anxiety Depression. And yeah, we're just about to launch our first program called the Brain Upgrade Challenge as well, which is going to be a 30-day program to help guys who are in the same boat, really. Yeah. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
There are these issues, but there is, as you said, if there is a brain, there is a problem. And if there is a problem, there's not. It is a very normal thing. We don't have to kind of stigmatize it or kind of associate that you, out of these 5 people, have a problem. So this is very important. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. It's amazing, not as, let's say, a co-founder or anything, but I really, really do like your journey. And I have to also mention to the audience that it's very difficult to get male mental health advocates. I've been doing this for 16 weeks, and Dan was the first person I was able to find after rigorous search. So this topic is very important for us. Any experience where you can actually mention how people could have behaved differently? Because I remember when I was going through a difficult time, and when especially it kind of associates with mental illnesses, the worst thing which can happen is there is a monster inside which we have to address. We don't want to let it out, but there's also what people say, and I feel sometimes it kind of puts it to the wrong edge. So do you have any such experiences?
Sorry, I don't get the question. So you mean like
where people could have behaved differently when you were trying to come out, or when you were trying to emotionally address your feelings when you were a kid or when you grew up?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, people are getting better at understanding what it's like for people, you know. And as I just said, sort of COVID-19 has just taught everybody in the world about what it's like to struggle. But I still find that that a lot of people still spit out stigma left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
You actually, they're actually, and then when you start to talk to them about different things, especially like OCD, you'll hear people say, "Oh, I'm a little bit OCD,"
Yes.
and I pull them on it. I'm like, "Do you know what OCD is?" And they're like, "Yeah, this, that, and the other." And then when I educate them on that, they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that it was like that." So I think, yeah, I've experienced that loads of times where people, like, I don't get angry about it, because I know a lot of OCD sufferers do get angry about it.
Yeah.
But I just look at it, it's like, it's not really their fault.
Yeah, there's a lack of awareness.
But it would be great if people could stop using terms that they don't actually know what they are.
This is what actually I was addressing at, because people have actually started using OCD as a verb. I know when I was a kid, I was using it like that.
Oh, but yeah, it's a hashtag on Instagram. Like, oh, I'm a little bit OCD-ish, and it's like a picture of a fridge with like the tomatoes in order. And that's not OCD. You know, you can be a little bit OTT
Mm-hmm.
over the top, but you can't be a little bit OCD. You've either got it or you haven't.
Yeah. Yes. So this is exactly what my next question is. What is OCD really like? So walk us through a day of your life. Because you said, right, it starts from the day you get up and it's still until. So what does it really feel like? What things bug you? What doesn't bug you? Because you want to eliminate this verb factor out of OCD.
Yeah. Okay. So as I sort of said earlier, it is kind of like having a monster in your head, which is the best way that I can describe it. Now, the thoughts are intrusive thoughts, and they're called intrusive thoughts for a reason, because they're unwanted thoughts. So they're very horrible, unwanted thoughts, and you just want to get them out, or you want them to stop. They can also be urges and impulses. So, for instance, I've got my water here. Maybe if we was doing this interview live in person and we were next to each other, I've never met you before, I might suddenly get an intrusive thought that I'm going to throw this water all over you.
Okay.
So that's an example of like an intrusive thought or a sudden urge or an impulse. Sometimes when you're driving, you'll get an intrusive thought that you're going to drive the car up onto the curb, or if I'm up high, like sometimes I get the urge to jump off. But yeah, the worst part of it is the relentless intrusive thoughts, like horrible thoughts all day, every day. And what you learn through therapy, when you find out that it's OCD, then you can then go on to a journey into therapy, and therapists will get you doing CBT, exposure response prevention, all of these different things, and you can start to turn the tables on it. But when you don't know it's OCD, it's horrendous. And it's very, very debilitating, and it makes life impossible, basically, is how I can describe it. But when you know it's OCD, so sort of like I'm 7 years in now, I can't stop the intrusive thoughts. All I can do is make sure I detach any meaning from them. So mindfulness and any kind of meditation is really, really good for me at that. And I can use techniques like noting, so actually noting that it's that's an OCD thought there. And then sort my lifestyle out, because when my lifestyle is poor, i.e. really bad nutrition, maybe I'm not exercising enough, maybe I'm not keeping my spiritual life going, maybe my social life is like having a real impact on me. If my intrusive thoughts are really, really bad, it's probably because one of those four things are out of sync. So trying to put those right to decrease the intensity of the intrusive thoughts is how I try and live my life. And then making sure as well that it doesn't stop me doing anything that I want to do anymore.
Yeah.
It robbed me of 20 years of my life. It robbed me of my education. It robbed me of my dream to go into the military. I've really struggled in relationships, and it's taken so much away from me. But the last sort of 7 years, I said, no way is this doing anything more to me than it's already done. So yeah, you have to be quite courageous on a day-to-day basis.
I actually can really understand and sympathize with this point where you mentioned that we have to start taking our own decisions, because we have given up to the, let's say, society's expectations from us, and society's what is the right way to do, how we should behave, that now we really have to there has to come a time where we have to say no, and I will do whatever I really want to do, and whatever is actually beneficial for me as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you need to take action. don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's easy to take action. It took me 20 years to take the right action. But the moment you start taking action, you start to put that monster back in its cage. And I think that, like, going back to our conversation around social media and accounts and not even social media, like governments and stuff like that, there's a ton of awareness out there. But when does the awareness get into programs of actions? So I think I'm quite unique in the fact that my program is more about getting people into action rather than just like creating an awareness.
Because now people are exactly getting to know that, yes, let's talk about mental health, but people really don't know how to solve it and get over it.
And I think for a lot of people, I think it's a tick box exercise, especially and, we'll make a nice TV commercial about it, and then we can tick that box and we can look like a really good employer and stuff like that. But there's no substance behind it, if you know what I mean. So I think we're a long way before we start getting effective programs.
Okay. So my last question about the diagnosis part is that, did you find alcohol as a solution to, let's say, OCD and anxiety and depression and the inability to talk? Because we want to touch that topic as well.
Definitely. It was definitely a short-term solution, isn't it? And it was my go-to thing. It was my best friend but worst enemy. So unfortunately, I don't know what I did in a previous life to get given both OCD and alcoholism in one go. But unfortunately, I've got both. So it's just I don't know if I'd have got through without alcohol, really. I do get why
people do that. And what was the stage in your life? Because as you said that there was 20 years when there was no diagnosis, where you were, let's say, in a lot of pain because of the OCD and the alcohol. And then there must have come a point or an incident which you can remember where you decided that this is it. And now we have to kind of look for solutions on overcoming it.
So I first got into the 12-step fellowship because my mum and dad had reached the end of their tether with my behaviour. They first tried to get me help at 21 for my alcohol, and I didn't get it sorted until I didn't go to the 12-step fellowship till I was 29, 30. I can't remember now, 30. So they literally said if I don't sort my drinking out, then they were going to pull the plug from me. And couldn't blame them. I put them through hell, and never told them once about my OCD either. So I went to the fellowship first of all for my parents, but then sort of realised a couple of years in that I need to, I'm going to die if I don't sort this out. Just decided to give it one last go of trying to get well, and if not, I was just going to carry on to the bitter end. I think just went to some very, very dark places.
Do you feel that it would have been better if you talked to your parents or your loved ones, because then the diagnosis might have happened earlier?
Oh yeah. If I spend 30 hours of my week now working with social services here in the UK, and I work with teenagers who are in various different situations, whether it be being gangs, excluded from school for different reasons, exploitation cases and stuff like that. And I'm always talking to them about what I would have said to my younger self, and if I had have shared what was going on and could have got help when I was 12, 13, I think my life would have been very different.
And now this was my next question. What would be those things which you want to share with the men out here on our platform? Because a lot of people I know have joined the live session to actually watch you. I tagged all my friends because we want to destigmatize, especially for the male mental health here? And what would you have said? Because since I've started this platform, I know a lot of teenagers are coming out to us also seeking help and are trying to understand what it really is. And it's, while it's good that they are coming out, it's very painful to see those young kids through that much pain at such a early stage in their life. So what would you say out to them, what I should say out to them, which can really help them?
Yeah, so we spoke about the emotional fitness instead of mental health earlier.
Yes.
So try and think about it as emotional fitness, and it's something that we've all got to work on. And you can just like an athlete can never be fit enough, you know, never be emotionally fit. You keep working on it. Then the second thing I always do is I always bring it back to think about your phone. And one of the reasons I called my program the Brain Upgrade is because as humans, what do we do when our phone starts to run a bit slow? The apps start to be a bit glitchy. Maybe the battery starts to drain faster. We run a system update, or we upgrade our phones. Right? So the majority of people are upgrading their phone twice a year. Now, think about your brain. All right, when was the last time that you upgraded your brain? When it was feeling a bit slow, feeling a bit stressed, being a bit glitchy? We don't do it. We don't. And if anything, what we do is we keep it to ourselves, and then we turn to destructive behaviours such as food or alcohol or toxic relationships or this, that, the other, and we don't do anything. So if you can upgrade your brain as often as you upgrade your phone, you're already going to be taking massive strides to helping yourself out.
And lastly, what are the things you swear by which helped you in this treatment? So, because I know I follow you personally, but what are the things you would, let's say, just swear by?
Okay, cool. So the Brain Upgrade Challenge is the lifestyle lessons that the doctors don't have time to teach you. And the 4 sort of key areas that I focus on is your biology. So this includes things like nutrition, exercise, whether you've had any brain injuries, all of those types of things. The one thing from that circle would be to remove refined carbs and refined sugars from your diet. That's one really practical thing that we do. Second thing from that little circle would be even exercising. Find exercise that is fun, but even going for a walk and walking like you're late for a bus for 45 minutes will do you wonders. The second circle is psychology. So here I'm always trying to get a more positive mindset into the guys that I work with. I get them to try and find a therapist that they're comfortable with, and try and look at the way that sort of the mind works. Then the final 2 is your spiritual circle. So obviously really big on meditation, really big on helping people, practicing compassion. You know, compassion to yourself, but also compassion to your fellow man, and your fellow man and woman, obviously. And then the last one is your social circle. Like any sort of diagnosis that leaves out the social element to anxiety and depression, for instance, is an incomplete conversation. Yeah, situational stuff is real. And I think, again, we've learned that from COVID. You know?
Yes.
I've seen people just deteriorate big time. They had no issues whatsoever before, according to them.
Yeah.
Deteriorated big time. That's an example of how situational anxiety, situational depression can really, really take someone down. But again, what are your relationships like? Who are the people that you're spending the most time with? Are you socialising enough? Are you struggling with loneliness? All of these types of things. And yeah, just keep focusing and just do one small thing at a time. you know, and just keep working on improving those areas of your life.
Okay. Thank you so much, Stan, for addressing this. And as the last part of our live section, I generally ask everyone to share one story where you think, which is very close to your heart, where your support and your guidance in your journey was able to help the other person.
Yeah, well, it would have been my last ultra run. I ran 230 kilometers in 5 days through the Amazon rainforest of Peru to raise money and awareness for OCD Action, which is a UK charity that helps people with obsessive compulsive disorder. And we raised about £14,000, and I was able to inspire a lot of people who are struggling with OCD, so that they know that whatever they're going through right now, they can turn it around and use the struggle to achieve some big things in their life.
Thank you so much, Dan, for coming to our platform and sharing your wonderful and very inspiring journey. I have to say that I, as a person, am in awe of your struggle and of how you have turned your life around. And I would like to say to my audience that Dan's new program, you can find it in the comment section below, and the video will also be uploaded on our website, so you can always the website is also in the comment section below. So thank you everybody for watching this live video. Thank you, Dan.